This program is brought to you by Emory University.
This book, Custerology, The Enduring Legacy of the Indian Wars and George Armstrong Custer, returns to an iconic moment of U.S. history, Custer's defeat at the Battle of Little Bighorn, a moment that, from the minute that it happened, was lifted onto the front pages of U.S. newspapers and sort of became history even as it was still a fresh event in everybody's mind. And it's endured with us for over 130 years now. What I'm interested in this book is the way that it has endured, and especially the way that it has come back in the last 20 to 30 years as a site of historical memory and historical conflict. I'm really interested not just in the history itself, but why we remember that history. I started working on this book many years ago, and the real spark for me came when I took a trip out to Montana during the summer for the anniversary of the battle, which is in late June. And what I found was that there are all of these groups who came to the battlefield on the anniversary, each with a slightly different stake in the battle and its memory. There are reenactments that go on, not just one, but two reenactments that go on of Custer's last stand. There are amateur historical groups that come and hold mini conferences about the Little Bighorn and the life of Custer and his men. And then there are a variety of Indian groups that come back to the Little Bighorn every year to celebrate their victory and remember the people who fought in the Indian Wars. And they've actually had a lot of impact on the battlefield itself, building a new memorial to the Indians who fought in the battle, erecting new headstones to remember the warriors who died there. I thought, what a fascinating place. All of these people coming back to this one event in American history that happened so long ago, each of them with slightly different agendas. And I decided that I wanted to tell their stories. One of the things that's very interesting about this history is we live in a moment in which most Americans have reevaluated the American Indian Wars. Since Vietnam and since the rise of multiculturalism, we feel very differently about this set of conflicts than the people who lived through them at the time. However, what's interesting is that this history hasn't gone away. It keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back for a number of reasons. One is that Americans still continue to debate the purpose of war, the appropriateness of war, and the way in which Americans are deployed in conflict. The other thing is that Americans still have a set of unresolved questions about the place of American Indians in their borders. And this history, this conflict of the Indian Wars, and especially Custer's last stand, becomes a kind of screen on which that conflict and those ambivalences can be played out. So it's a book that shuttles between the past and the present and tries to think about the ways that history is layered upon history as we sort of experience a landscape saturated by memories of the past.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.